Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from Anu Sabata Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond this evening. Fear grips Asawasi residents following a broad daylight killing of a middle-aged man by assailants. We'll tell you exactly what's happening there because the Ashanti Regional Security Council has instituted a raft of security measures to deal with the rising violence, including a ban on movement of motorbikes during the night. Stay with us here on Hot Edition. Also, government rejects 3.6 billion cedis in claims submitted by various institutions. We'll give you updates and details of that shortly here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Collaborate with Parliament to expedite passage of Dual Citizenship Amendment Bill. James Jatsikwason is saying this during his vetting in Parliament. And the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission is also to prosecute fake honorary doctorate holders, possibly being jailed for at least 1 year if you're caught using a fake doctorate. We'll give you details of these and more here on Hot Edition. As always, there's the latest in the world of business and sports over the next 1 hour. I am Alfred Ocansey, and I'm here with Enyanam Haliga. Let's settle for a summary of the news now.
In today's summaries, the Ghana Police Service has arrested 27 male suspects in a major anti-illegal mining operation at Ankase Jadam in the eastern region. The intelligence-led exercise targeted several illegal mining sites where the suspects were found actively engaged in unlawful activities. Now, Ghana and France have signed a bilateral agreement formalizing debt relief as part of Ghana's ongoing external debt restructuring program, marking a significant milestone in the country's economic recovery efforts. The agreement makes France the first member of the Paris Club to formally commit to debt relief for Ghana, following the country's slide into unsustainable debt levels in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in education, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has stated that it will soon begin prosecuting the sanction of individuals who falsely use academic titles like doctor and professor without earning them through the proper academic process. The Commission says the increase in misuse of these titles, especially by those who receive honorary degrees from an accredited institution, is misleading and unacceptable. And finally, a tragic incident has left residents in Dense in the Ifija-Kwabre North District of the Ashanti region gripped with fear and panic following the death of 2 people and injury of 3 others. The injured victims were rushed to the Offenso St. Patrick Hospital, where they are currently receiving medical treatment. Now, according to some residents and eyewitness, the incident occurred on Thursday night after several gunshots were fired, causing panic and chaos in the area. Over to you, Alfred.
Thank you very much. And this one is on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into the stories this evening. As a middle-aged man was gunned down in broad daylight today, July 25, at Asawasi, a suburb of Kumasi, after 2 men on a motorbike shot him multiple times before fleeing the scene. The brazen attack, which occurred as the victim was walking to his car, has sparked fear among residents and reignited concerns over rising violent crimes in the area. Eyewitnesses say the armed men approached swiftly on a motorbike, opened fire and sped off, leaving the man bleeding on the ground. Now, police arrived shortly after a cordon of the area. The victim, whose identity remains withheld pending family notification and identification, was confirmed dead at the scene. This marks the second motorbike-related shooting in the area this week, following the killing of a traditional leader on Tuesday evening. Community leaders are calling for urgent steps and intervention to ensure that this is stemmed. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has also confirmed the incident and promised thorough investigations with plans underway to intensify patrols in hotspot areas. As fear and frustration grows, residents are demanding swift justice and stronger action to stem the violence in that area. Shortly, We'll be joined by a security analyst to help us understand this, and our correspondent in the area as well, Ibrahim Abubakar. He's been to the Asawasi community. He's connecting with us right now. Ibrahim, I can imagine that there's a lot of fear and uncertainty in the area as we speak, is it not?
Exactly, Alfred. As I speak to you, the Ashanti Regional Security Council, after their emergency meeting, have deployed a team of police and military in the area to patrol it. In fact, they have formed a lot of barricades within the main streets, making sure that they are checking motorbikes, inspecting every single motorbike that is passing by. Now, the RECSEC has to resolve that beginning today, all motorbikes shall be permitted on the road after 7 p.m. until further notice. Again, the use of unlicensed motorbikes or motorbikes without light is strictly prohibited. Thirdly, no motorbike rider is permitted to wear a smock until further notice, because it has become an avenue for suspects to conceal weapons. So now, what the RECSEC, like I said, have to increase security presence in hotspot areas involving both police and the military. So, as I speak to you, you come to Asawasi, the place is very, very tense. In fact, the scene that the incident happened this afternoon is one of the busiest streets, I'll tell you, in Asawasi. So people were wondering how come broad daylight we had these two unidentified men in motorbike coming there to shoot this middle-aged man. He has not been identified yet, but we were told that he was just from an eatery walking towards where he had parked his car, and these guys just came, started shooting, and fled from the scene. He died on the spot. Even though we have a lot of CCTV cameras around, that is at least what is giving the people assurance that the people would be able to track these perpetrators. But like you rightly said, it has brought a lot of fear to residents in the area, because in a space of 3 days, we are having a similar motorbike attack that has led to the death of 2 individuals.
And you talk about this area being one of the busiest streets in Asawasi. Now, paint to us how the people who are there are reacting to this, especially the eyewitnesses whom you have been talking to, who were there. And when this incident happened, were there a lot of people in the area, even though as busy as it was, and the timing of this particular incident? What did they tell you?
Well, Fred, people are saying that this is a targeted killing, because these people may have planned well, because this is a Zongo community. So we do know that on Fridays, usually between the hours of 12 to 1, because we go and observe our Friday prayers, the place is a bit quiet. So it was around that area that these people came. But even with that, there were other people around. There were mechanic shops. There were other people when they heard the gunshot. People wanted to rush to them, but they also started firing sporadically, and people feared for their lives. So this is something they had planned. They planned their exit route just after shooting. They just fled using the road leading to Menchia. Then they disappeared. No one knows where. In fact, the anti-robbery squad were not even far from the place of incident, because where today's incident happened is just, I would say, 500 meters walk from where the earlier incident, or I would say Tuesday's incident, happened. So people had gathered at the earlier incident. We had the anti-robbery team also there. So when they heard the news, quickly they moved to the scene, but unfortunately, they couldn't track these guys on the motorbike. So people are just living here, but they're very, very scared, because they do not know who is next on the radar of these criminals.
Any indication that the plea by the police to them not to, that's on the back of what happened earlier in the week, not to the youth, not to take matters into their own hands, but rather allow the police to investigate? I know you've been talking to some of the young people in the area. What have they been telling you? Any indication that this plea or the appeal by the police has been considered?
Alfred, for now, we cannot even predict what can happen in the next minute, because The first incident had not been dealt with. The police had assured them that will make sure they arrest the perpetrators, and for that matter, they shouldn't take the law into their hands. They have agreed to what the police are saying. Just before even the burial or the funeral of the traditional leader, then we are having this incident. And because people already have in their mind that this is a targeted crime, others have also decided that, look, we cannot wait for this to continue because we do not know what will happen next. So people, you find them, they are calm, but you can't exactly predict, like I said, what they will do next. So anger, there is a lot of anger, but I can tell you that a lot of police, a lot of military have been deployed within Asawasi to be able to maintain law and order. And as I speak, a number of motorbikes have been stopped. They are even creating a lot of vehicular congestion because the police has decided to search every single motorbike that uses the stretch so that they make sure no one is carrying any weapon.
Ibrahim, appreciate you for this, and thank you so much for this very important update. Ibrahim Abubakar is Ashanti Regional Correspondent. He is in Asawasi as we speak, and if you're just joining us, the information we're having now here on Hot Edition, the Asawasi suburb of Kumasi has recorded a second shooting incident this week. A yet-to-be-identified man has been shot and killed by unknown assailants. From the account of the eyewitness who just spoke to Ibrahim Abubakar, who is in the Asawasi community as we speak, this man, this was described as a brazen attack which occurred as the victim was walking to his car, sparked fear and amongst these residents. The eyewitnesses say the armed men approached swiftly on a motorbike, opened fire on this person, and then sped off, leaving the man bleeding on the floor. Now, police arrived shortly after and cordon off the area. The victim, whose identity remains withheld pending the family notification, was confirmed dead at the scene. This marks the second motorbike-related shooting in the area this week, following the killing of a traditional leader on Tuesday evening. The police understand there's a heavy police deployment. If you go on our Facebook page right now, at 3FM927, you would see live videos from what's happening in the Asawasi community as we speak. So we've had videos of this victim, the lifeless body of the victim on the floor. It's been covered with the number of persons around this scene, this incident, where this incident happened. Ibrahim Abubakar describes this area where this shooting incident happened as a busy street. But these people, the assailants, targeted this individual when a number of the persons there had gone to pray or observe their Friday afternoon Muslim prayer. So the place, even though it's a busy street, was not as busy when this incident happened. And that's unfortunate development we're hearing from Asawasi right now. There's a heavy police deployment checking every vehicle using that stretch in the Asawasi community. And Richard Komado is a security analyst. He's been following this quite closely. Mr. Komado, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. And this is the latest, again, unfortunate incident, the second killing in the last 4 days in the Asawasi community, and the same modus operandi. You have assailants on a motorbike, gunned the victim down, and then sped off. What does all of this tell you?
I think it has brought to the fore again the danger of gun violence in our communities and how it impacts communities and individuals negatively. And I want to believe that the police have taken notice, and to the extent that the anti-robbery squad was in close proximity, but they couldn't pick the assailant. They will work very hard within the week to be able to make some arrests. But it looks very close, it looks similar. It looks familiar to personal killings and personal targeting and how armed perforation has taken control over our country. Then again, this must also happen at the blind side of law enforcement, because if you remember, for some time now, public safety has been very calm in most communities, and so the police might have relaxed on the policing engagement, deploying their men into the communities. But having 4 shootings within the same proximity of about 500 meters, I think the police will want to look at it again. And if it means we need to go back to community policing where we mobilize resources to deploy community police officers into the communities, they will need to have a look at it again.
But then you listen to Ibrahim, and I know you're on the telephone, and the description that he gives about this area. It has become almost, a lack of caution on these persons or by these persons, because they can do this in broad daylight. In fact, what we understand is that even though the first incident that led to the death of a traditional leader in the area, that incident happened at night. But this incident, this latest one, happened in broad daylight this afternoon on a busy street. What indication does this give you, especially considering the area in question and then also what has happened just 2 days ago?
The criminals have been emboldened because they control the public space. And it's a fight, the police will have to wage and win. This is not a fight they will lose, and I don't believe they want to lose this fight. Normally, when it comes to crime prevention and crime prosecution, whoever controls the public space have dominance. And they might have realized that the police have become relaxed due to the nature of community dwellings and lack of broad-day crimes within this particular area. And they've taken advantage. It's a battle the police will have to wage, and I want to believe that the police have taken notice and the levels of public safety challenges this community has faced. And they will not just be protecting the community, but they will go after these guys who have committed these heinous crimes against the people of Asawasi.
I wanted to hold on a bit for me, Mr. Kumada, because there's a statement that's come through from the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council detailing some security measures that have been put in place in the wake of what's happened just some 2 hours ago. And what does this statement say?
And so it says, the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council expresses its condolence to the family of the late Alhaji Abdul Malik Azingbe, the chief of Kumasi, on his untimely passing in response to the recent security incident involving the fatal shooting of Alhaji Abdul Malik Azingbe, which occurred at Asawasi on Tuesday, July 22. The Regional Security Council convened on an emergency meeting on Wednesday, July 24, to assess the situation and determine the immediate action. Now, following the meeting, the RECSEG resolved as follows: no motorbikes shall be permitted on the road after 7 p.m. until further notice. The use of unlicensed motorcycles or bicycles without lights is strictly prohibited. The ongoing internal tribal football competition is to be suspended with immediate effect until further notice. And finally, no motorbike rider is permitted to wear a smock until further notice, and it has become an avenue for suspects to conceal weapons. This statement was signed by the Ashanti Regional Minister, Honorable Dr. Frank Amakwene.
Mr. Kumado, how potent will these measures be in addressing this recent rise of violence?
It looks similar. It looks familiar. It looks a reactive mode. It looks like they are determined to do something about it, and they have adopted these strategies. What is important is that the police, who are the first responders and who are capable of managing affairs of communities when it comes to public safety challenges and security breaches, must step up their game and must be very aggressive within these communities. Once the police begin to dominate the public space, criminals will go into hiding. If you observe that the police has become relaxed because things are cool, then they come boldly in doing what they did. If they know there's a police officer somewhere who also has the ability of taking them down, they wouldn't dare come in the broad daylight to shoot people on a motorbike and think they have vanished. Knowing Kumasi very well and knowing how police operate within these particular communities, I want to believe that if the police go into their conclave and work together with the BNI and other security agencies, they should be able to flash out these guys as quickly as possible. What will happen is that the police normally will want to block the highway, but these guys will stay in between because they know the highways will be blocked. So the police, if they are listening, let's change it a little bit strategically. Let's deal within the deeper communities and the inner communities whilst we have guys on the highways. That is the only way you smoke them out. And once you smoke them out, their confidence comes back. Then people begin to cooperate with the police, and these communities will come back to life, and they'll have their lives safe again.
I see. We're also, come on, just hold on a bit for me, please, because we're also just monitoring some information. The Ghana Police Service has arrested 27 male suspects in a major anti-galamsey matter. We'll give an update on shortly to our listeners, but there's also some information coming from Denasi, where an incident has left residents of Denasi in the Ifija-Kwabre North District of the Ashanti region gripped with fear and panic following the death of some 2 people and the injury of some 3 others. The injured victims were rushed to the Ofinso St. Patrick Hospital, where they're currently receiving medical treatment. According to some residents and eyewitnesses who've been speaking to our correspondent there, the incident occurred Thursday night after several gunshots were fired, causing panic and chaos in the area. While the exact circumstances surrounding this shooting remains unclear, Mr. Kumado, some residents have alleged that it may have been a contract killing, further heightening the fears in the community. One, Kwabena Asamoah, a unit committee chair for the Nasik electoral area, indicated that the attack did not appear to be a case of armed robbery, but rather a targeted assault on specific individuals traveling in a particular vehicle. He disclosed that a total of 14 bullets were fired during the incident, highlighting the intensity and severity of the attack. And he says that this is not the first time such an incident has occurred in the area, as the community has recorded similar attacks in the past. And when the police is aware of this, and they are putting some strategies in place to address this latest development as well. This is in the same Ashanti region as well, but this time around in Ifija-Kwabre North District. Mr. Kumado.
Definitely ahead of that. And I think it's becoming a little bit of very messy when it comes to availability of guns in communities and in the hands of illegitimate people, and the willingness of some of these guys to commit some of these crimes using these weapons. I believe subsequently, the National Small Arms is working so hard to pass the bill, which will cater for some of these crimes. Until then, we have our able policemen, and I think the police must begin to address some of these cases as quickly as possible. The longer it stays on, the people begin to lose confidence in the police and their ability to act. I think crime must not overcome us. Crime must not overtake our public spaces, and the police must be a bit more aggressive. And once they become aggressive, some of these criminals will run away and hide. It has also brought to the fore the proliferation of arms and the use of it, and the registration of arms, and the lack of ability and power to retrieve these arms in our communities. Let's have this conversation as a nation who is determined to live and not to die. Other than that, those who want to kill us are very active, and they are very proud doing what they are doing broad daylight.
And should there be a holistic security response to what's happening across the Ashanti region? Because apart from what's happening, Ms. Kumado, apart from what's happening in Asawasi, and then what I just read in the Ifija-Kwabre North District, there's another report of a violent gang clash at Mpasaso number 1 and 2. This is in the Ahafwano Southwest District, same Ashanti region, has left 1 person dead and 3 others, including a pregnant woman, critically injured. The attack occurred around 3 p.m. on Wednesday, sparked panic in the farming and mining community. Terrified farmers have abandoned their fields, and some students are also too scared to return to school.
Definitely, Alfred. And what comes to mind? Galamsey, isn't it? And the nature of weapons they are having. And once you are talking about Galamsey, it becomes competitiveness. And once there's competition and there are rival gangs and there are rival groups, coupled with traditional issues and the violence nature it can take, then you add politics and it becomes a survivor. These guys are willing to take on their rival, or they become competitors where business people or traditional leaders can hire them as contract killers. As a nation, we will need to have a look at it again, bring in the police officers who have dealt with issues of langas and galamseyers in the front line, and their expertise and input would generally help the larger community of the police to be able to run as quickly as possible, to deal with some of these issues as quickly as possible. And that has always been my position on this issue.
Look, Kumado, appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much. Richard Kumado is a security analyst. Now, the government has uncovered major discrepancies in claims submitted by various institutions as part of an ongoing audit of arrears and commitments. Finance Minister Dr. Kasiela Tuforsin, who disclosed this in his mid-year budget review to Parliament, revealed that out of the 68.7 billion cedis in total arrears as of end of 2024, only 28.3 billion cedis has so far been validated as genuine. Now, preliminary findings show that 3.6 billion cedis in claims were rejected due to errors, duplications, and violations of public financial and procurement rules. The audit is being carried out by the Ghana Audit Service in collaboration with international firms Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers. The minister said the full audit is expected to be completed by the end of August 2025, to which a final report will be made public.
Mr. Speaker, I now give you an update on the arrears payable audit that we did. Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget, we announced the launch of an audit of arrears and payables as at end December 2024. The Ghana Audit Service partnered with EY and PwC to undertake this audit. Mr. Speaker, the Audit Service was tasked to audit and validate 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. So far, Mr. Speaker, 87% of the audit has been completed. Results show so far as follows. Mr. Speaker, a total of 28.3 billion Ghana cedis has been validated for payment. Mr. Speaker, 27.3 billion is pending validation as we speak. Right, Honorable Speaker, an amount of 3.6 billion Ghana cedis has been rejected because of errors, duplication, and non-compliance with PFM and procurement rules. The Speaker, of this amount, 562.6 million is without adequate supporting document. So, Speaker, the outcome of this audit will blow your mind. Blow your mind. So, Speaker, the audit is expected to be completed by end of August 2025. Once finalized, we will update the House on the findings and outcomes.
So that's the finance minister there giving details of this audit, and the minister also revealed that some contractors have received payments for projects without showing evidence of work done. The minister added that he has commissioned the Auditor General to carry out a forensic audit on these payments that have been made so far.
Mr. Speaker, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 stalled projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Mr. Speaker, sadly, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Again, some contractors have submitted additional costs in excess of what Parliament approved. The Ministry of Finance has accordingly commissioned a forensic audit into this project. Mr. Speaker, we will apprise the House when this audit is completed. And Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, the Auditor General is the one doing this forensic audit in partnership with some of the Big Four.
Well, so that's the finance minister, Dr. Kasiela Tuforsin there. And then they talk about a staggering number of ghost names on payroll. The ghosts never go away. This is the minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker. As part of the fiscal consolidation strategy, we have taken measures to sanitize public sector payroll and rid it of ghost names. Subsequently, we engaged the Ghana Audit Service to undertake a nationwide payroll audit across all 16 regions of the country. The Speaker, the Audit Service has completed 91% of the payroll audit. So far, the Audit Service has not been able to identify or verify over 14,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, again, they have identified 53,311 separated staff on the payroll. Mr. Speaker, separated staffs are staff who are either on retirement, reassigned, terminated, or are on leave without pay or deceased and yet remain on government payroll. Mr. Speaker, the audit service expects to recover a minimum of 150.4 million of unearned salary from the separated staff over 2023 and 2024 period alone. Right, Honorable Speaker, going forward, we will enforce the monthly payroll validation process and strictly apply sanctions to all who validate ghosts for payment of salaries. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service that they will be personally liable for the loss of public fund. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. Let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service that they will be personally liable for the loss of public funds. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will continue to monitor this payroll and put in place measures to prevent ghosts on the payroll going forward. Mr. Speaker, I now give you an update on the arrears payable audit that we did. Mr. Speaker,
that's the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasila Tufosin, in Parliament yesterday. And Austin Game is a respected labor expert, is joining us right now on the telephone. We lost Austin Game. We'll try to raise him back on the telephone for a conversation on this rather troubling picture that the Finance Minister just paints there, with the number of this ghost on our payroll, which has always been the case. Every year we have an update on ghosts on the public payroll who are receiving salaries but are not working. And so you hear the Finance Minister strongly making that statement that those who validate ghosts will be held liable and prosecuted. Fundamental question, as has been asked right now, is why all of this has not been done over the period. That if there are persons who could be traced as the validators of the ghosts who have been receiving salaries over time, why have they not been punished all this while? That's the question we'll seek answers to as we go on. But stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions are welcome at 3FM 927. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. Let's go on to some more stories this evening here on Hot Edition. Our security forces in the Savannah region have destroyed hundreds of makeshift structures used by illegal miners in Tuntumba, Calabar, and January during a dawn raid. Now, the operation led by the Savannah Regional Security Council also resulted in the seizure of 8 excavators. Now, we're going to hear from Christopher Marco, our Savannah Regional correspondent, shortly, but this is what happened during the raid.
Stream is a main source. Sometimes, because of the nature of our environment, the stream dries out at some time in the year, and within the rain season, it comes back. You can see that they try to block the stream and gather some water at a certain point for which they are using that. And that is terrible and that is bad. And when you block a stream, it means that a livelihood is actually affected and many other people will also be affected. So when you deposit, not just the blocking of the stream, but if you deposit the heavy metals that they are using, it gets into the river. And you know the millions of people who are drinking the water from the river. And that is something that we ought to protect. Our aim is actually the financiers of this heavy-duty equipment. To carry a machine like this excavator by a low bed from wherever you are having it located to this place is a huge cost. And some of the operators cannot bear this cost. Of course, there are big wigs somewhere, and our tax is identified not just the operators, but the big wigs who are financing and supporting this activity. And when they are actually identified, be sure that we'll take the appropriate due steps to punish them.
Well, so that's the details we got from the Savannah region about what's happening with respect to illegal mining. And let's go straight to the eastern region, still matters of illegal mining. The Ghana Police Service, we're getting information, has arrested 27 male suspects in a major anti-galamsey operation at Ankasi, Jadam, near Asamang Tamfoy in the Eastern region. Now, the intelligence-led exercise carried out earlier today targeted several illegal mining sites where the suspects were found actively engaged in Galamsey. Yvonne Ikwe is our Eastern regional correspondent. She's joining us on the telephone. Yvonne, what more do we know about this?
Well, what more we didn't know is that the suspected illegal miners are in the hands of the police, because the police have to make sure that its findings are correct and then they process them to court. We didn't know that the issue of mining, irresponsible, illegal, and all of those activities are part of issues affecting the Eastern region. People have spoken several times on the need for an emergency action to ensure that these issues are dealt with. Thankfully, the police seem to be awake on this, and we're seeing arrests. We're seeing a lot of arrests in past time. We're hoping that these arrests will not be any other arrests, but police will follow duly, and then people found culpable are held responsible for those actions.
I see. Now, but can you confirm to us that some individuals attempted to obstruct and attack the police officers during the operation?
Exactly so. That was the case today when the police went on that exercise. Now, fighting the mining issue has become a complex one. Those in the mining, engaging in the mining themselves, those who own the concession themselves have become complicated. Holding a lot of things. These are people who will not allow due diligence to be done, or probably the police take action on them because they believe or feel that by some authority vested on them, they do have rights to the land. But unfortunately, the environment needs to be protected. So these are the issues that the police would have to face day in, day out in dealing with the situations at hand.
See, and how many excavators were impounded, if you do know, and any other equipments that were impounded by the police during this exercise?
Several excavators were impounded, including a number of equipment that the miners were using in that particular site. Also, we're hoping that this would not just be numbers of excavators, but exactly what happens to the excavators. We have heard stories of excavators being taken from site, and then unfortunately they get mixing or cannot be accounted for. So for me and you, probably it should not be about what is the number, but what happens to that excavators from henceforth lawfully or dutifully by the police.
Yvonne, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for the updates. Yvonne Ikwe is our Eastern Regional Correspondent, still live here on Hot Edition. Now, the information we're getting is that some individuals attempted to obstruct and attack officers during this operation in the Eastern region, wielding machetes and other weapons in an effort to resist the arrest. The operation also led to the seizure of significant equipment, including 11 excavators, 1 bulldozer, 1 pump action gun, and 3 saloon vehicles, a Mitsubishi pickup truck, a pick loader, several water pump machines, and other mining tools. This is the information from the Ghana Police Service on the intelligence-led exercise in the major anti-Galamsey operation at Ankasi Jadam near Asamantamfoy in the Eastern region. Now, all suspects are currently in police custody. If you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, we're showing you pictures of this intelligence-led operation in Tamfoy in the Eastern region by the Ghana Police Service, the Anti-Galamsey Task Force. The suspects who have been arrested as well, we're showing you the pictures as provided by the Ghana Police Service. All suspects are currently in police custody, assisting with investigation while the seized items have been placed under secure protection. The operation is part of the government's continued effort to clamp down on illegal mining, which has caused widespread environmental destruction across many parts of the country. So that is what we're getting from the Ghana Police Service right now here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions are welcome at 3FM 927. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has indicated it will soon move to prosecute prosecute individuals and institutions using unaccredited titles, including professors and doctors. Director General of GTEC, Professor Abdullahi Ahmed Jinapo, said after naming and shaming individuals for using unearned titles, the practice is still ongoing, hence the decision to challenge the individuals in court. Professor Jinapo addressed journalists in Accra earlier today.
Within our jurisdiction, it's allowed to issue honorary professor. Professorship is an earned rank, and I need to stress that. It's an earned rank. Honorary professor titles conferred by foreign bodies without legitimate academic standard are not recognized in Ghana by the Commission. In fact, for us, we don't recognize honorary professor at all. We don't. Misuse of academic titles such as doctor, professor, chartered constitutes an offense under the law. Penalties for violations include fines up to 250 penalty units, imprisonment for up to a year or both. There are sanctions. Somebody said, yeah, there are sanctions, but let me state that this business, we are doing it in stages. And the stages being that the canker has festered for a very long time. People have gotten away with it. And GTEC even trying to more or less raise the awareness of the general public that this is wrong in itself is problematic. So as you could see, we started with issuing the warning. We issued another reminder. We are engaging in name and shame. If it doesn't work, we will prosecute one or two people to serve as deterrent to the general public. So it's not an event, it's a process.
Well, that's the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Abdullahi Ahmed Jinapo there. Dr. Peter Patianti is Director of the Institute for Education Studies, Ghana, a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Dr. Peter Anti, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Alfred.
I know that your doctoral degree, as it were, is an end one. It's not a one. It's not honorary, is it?
Yeah, sure.
So I am free to, and in fact, I'm legally mandated to call you doctor.
This call will be
that is correct. That is it's a title that we have earned
through hard work.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it wasn't an easy journey.
And I thank you for agreeing to talk to us. Now, this is the latest from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. They say beyond the naming and shaming, which you've been doing now, they've decided to slap jail terms on persons who use these titles illegally. The way to go?
Well, I think we shouldn't get there. I think for this, I mean, the reputation of those who have been giving these honorary degrees, and those who are using fake titles, they should just abide by the directive from GTEC, so that it will be interesting to go to jail because you are using a title that you have not earned properly. So I think they shouldn't. I mean, those who are using those titles, they shouldn't let GTEC get to that level. Also, I think that one of the things the tech needs to do is to now work out some modalities for institutions when they want to give out these honorary doctorate degrees, and then insist on those institutions to let it be clearly known to the awardees that they cannot use the title that they have been awarded with. I think that will be a proactive measure from the tech, and then they can look at the idea of pressing charges and other things. But for me, I wish that those who are using these fake titles will just withdraw, and then we'll have a big system running. We don't need to go through this simply because you want to get. If you want to get one, just go through the process. 3 years, 4 years of rigorous academic work and research, and then the institution will award you. Then you can freely use your title. And when you know that you didn't get it through the right channel, and the tech is prompting you, the best thing you can do is to just withdraw and not act as if you are doing the right thing. In that case, I will support the tech to prosecute you and get criminal charges against you. But I think that we shouldn't get to that level.
But that's what they've been doing. They said they've been doing naming and shaming. Some individuals have been challenging what they've been doing and also been adamant to stop using the honorary doctorates awarded them publicly. So then what options are they left with?
Well, when the individual is warned and he still insists that he is going to go by the illegal process, illegal path, then I think the tech can go ahead but it will be sad. That is my point. That's a personal view. It will be sad for one to be brought before a court of competent jurisdiction and your charge is that you are using a fake degree. I can't just imagine it. And that's why I'm thinking that they should just let it go. But if they are adamant, then the tech should they should just use one or two people as scapegoats, and I think everyone will fall in line.
See, and maybe finally, before I let you go, he talks about the also institutions in Ghana that are awarding these honorary doctorates as well that are not recognized. So apart from the individuals who are receiving it being the target now, shouldn't the institutions also come under the surveillance of GTEC on this matter?
Exactly, and that is the first point I made, that would be a proactive measure. So even those who have the mandate to give honorary awards, there should be clear-cut guidelines as to how they can issue this and an indication to the awardee that he or she cannot use this after they have conferred the title on him or her. And then there should be a clamping down on institutions that are not mandated. They don't have the requisite authorization to give out these honorary doctorate awards, and that one is normally with these so-called mushroom private, some private universities, and those who have links with they claim to have links with other universities outside. So I think the tech has a mandate to check all these universities and ensure that they have the requisite qualification and mandate to do what they are doing. And those who do not have, they should clamp down on them and get them out of the system.
I do. Thank you so much. Dr. Peter Pate Anti, Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFS Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama has appointed 8 new ambassadors and high commissioners designate. This was contained in a letter signed by the Secretary to the President, Dr. Callistus Mahama, and addressed to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Among the new appointments is the ambassador designate to the Republic of South Korea, Kojo Choi. His profile, cited by 3 News, indicates that Kojo Choi is a seasoned entrepreneur who has spent the past 2 decades in developing businesses in Ghana and across the west coast of Africa. He has also served in consulting roles for the Korean Embassy and multinational companies due to his in-depth knowledge of business in Africa. His scope of business experience ranges from telecommunications, financial technologies, marketing, communications, and consultancy. He's currently the Chief Executive Officer of PaySwitch Limited. The Dual Citizenship Rights Protection Society has congratulated Kojo Choi on his appointment as Ghana's ambassador to the Republic of South Korea. In a statement, the society noted the appointment highlights the need to reform outdated legal restrictions that continue to bar competent, patriotic citizens with dual nationality from holding public office. There's more of this on 3news.com. We're back with the latest in the world of business. Bismarck Awusa is standing by.
Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
A journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire. Come forward.
Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. Coming up tonight, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, raises red flag over AI-powered scam schemes, warning public against fake investment firms using faces and voices of public officials and celebrities. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is sounding the alarm over a sharp rise in sophisticated investment scams, some using artificial intelligence to impersonate public officials and celebrities. In a public notice issued Thursday, July 24, the Commission cautioned the public against unlicensed schemes, making lofty promises of high returns and often operating facelessly online with no traceable contacts. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is warning the public against a sharp rise in fraudulent investment schemes in Ghana, many of which are now using artificial intelligence to deceive unsuspecting investors. In a new public notice, the Commission says these scams are not licensed and are designed solely to defraud the public. Some use AI-generated content, including fake videos and voice clips, to mimic well-known public figures such as government officials and business leaders without their consent. These manipulated videos are circulated on social media to create a false sense of legitimacy. The SEC also warns that these operations often operate facelessly online, using anonymous social media accounts and verifiable websites or apps with no traceable addresses or contact persons. A common red flag is the promise of unrealistically high returns within a very short period. The Commission says it is working with law enforcement to clamp down on these entities. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Moving on, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, is urging faith leaders and financial stakeholders to champion the adoption of non-interest banking and finance, NIBF, as a credible, ethical, and inclusive alternative to conventional banking. Speaking at a stakeholder engagement with members of the clergy, Dr. Isiama described the model, commonly referred to as Islamic banking, as a transformative instrument for economic justice and inclusive prosperity, noting citing its prohibition of speculative and unethical investments and its emphasis on real asset-backed transactions.
Our infrastructure stock remains insufficient, particularly in critical sectors such as transportation, energy, water and sanitation, and digital connectivity. For instance, while our road network continues to expand, it suffers from poor maintenance, especially in rural areas, impeding access to essential markets and services. Colleagues, according to a report by the United Nations, Ghana will require an estimated $37.9 billion on an annual basis if we are to meet our infrastructure financing needs in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. In light of fiscal constraints, many developing economies, therefore, are turning to innovative financing instruments, such as the Sukuk bonds, which is a core component of NIBF.
And that was Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Before we go, Ghana and France have signed a bilateral agreement to officially grant Ghana debt relief under the country's external debt restructuring program. France becomes the first country within the Paris Club framework to grant Ghana this relief after the country underwent a debt restructuring exercise caused by unsustainable levels post-COVID-19. While expressing gratitude at the signing ceremony, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kasiela Asofo-Forson, appealed to other countries within the Paris Club framework to consider Ghana's economic gains and emulate France's gesture. And that brings us to the end of the business news on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. Bill Eshan is here for sports. Please stay.
Let's do some sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishe. Now, the Ghana's Black Queens in South Africa will lock horns in the third place playoff at the ongoing Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament at the Stade Labi Zaouli in Casablanca later tonight. Now, let's hear from my colleague Akosia J, who is currently at the stadium and put together this report.
And so after missing out on the finals of the Women's African Cup of Nations, the Black Queens are currently getting ready to set off and go to the Labi Zaouli Stadium, where they will be playing a third-place playoff game against South Africa. Remember, this is a repeat of 2016 when the Black Queens of Ghana played a third-place playoff game in Cameroon against South Africa. 1-0, the Queens were able to win to get the bronze. Will that be the story today? Or will the defending champions, who are missing the gold, the trophy, the prize money, now make do with what they say will be a retirement package for player Jermaine Sifensiwe? Well, at the Labi Zaouli Stadium later today, we would see who will be mounting the podium for that bronze medal. Coach Kim Lasbiokegrin and his team are getting ready. He hopes that his forwards this time take charge of all the chances they get and are able to stop the very dependable forces of Banyana that the team will be coming up against. So 8 p.m. local time here in Morocco, 7 p.m. in Ghana, the match will kick off, and hopefully the Black Queens of Ghana are able to bring glory back home. From in Casablanca, my name is Akosia AJ.
That was my colleague Akosia AJ giving a report ahead of Ghana's match against South Africa in the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Now, still on the African continent, head coach of Asante Kotoko, Abdul Karim Zito Kabute, has offered a reflective perspective ahead of his side's Toyota Cup clash with South African giants Kaizer Chiefs, emphasizing the value of growth and learning in football. Speaking to the media in Durban, Coach Zito addressed the expectations surrounding the game, particularly from fans who often view results as the ultimate measure for success.
I mean, I'm very happy when we were told that we are coming to play Kaizer Chiefs here. It's just similarly like you going outside your country to play. So, and they will see these are the type of games we are going to play during the campaign. So, to me, it's very, very important. To them, too, it's very, very important. The preparation for the season starts from here. And anything can happen during the course of preparations. Mostly when we are preparing, we don't look at the results. We look at the way we want them to play during the competition. So
that was Abdul Karim Zito speaking. Bringing an end to sports here on a 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Lishen. We have Alfred and the rest of the team on standby with more.
That's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. On behalf of the rest of the team, we say thank you so much for staying with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. That's Ghana Tonight at 10 p.m. on TV3, and also Key Point tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Do enjoy the rest of our programs this evening and have a great weekend.